happy hour. So this is a really quick one from the car outside of where my son's about to play basketball. And I want to talk about finding time for meditation. And this is probably one of the things that really tricks people up. And for me, it's when things get busy and routines get out of play. So one of the main tips that people and I give often is when you're starting a meditation practice, pick a really good time when you know you usually have more control over your time, and then routinely make that your meditation time. So for me, it's first thing I get up and I meditate. And usually that works pretty well. Unless, of course, I'm having to get up earlier because I'm taking kids to before school activities that I wouldn't normally do. And I am not a morning person. So that's one way that routines can get out of whack. And the other thing that I think people can get trapped up on is a little bit of perfectionism. So if the situation's not right, I don't have 20 minutes, so I can't do my meditation, or I don't have a quiet space, or I don't have a scented candle, or I'm not in my meditation, place. And I think we can overcome that. And I think it's a really good practice for us with our meditation to practice in all types of settings and with some of those extra challenges that you wouldn't get if you always sit in a beautifully quiet room. But what that gives us is freedom. So say you've got 5 minutes before you have to go inside and watch basketball. You can meditate for 5 minutes, and it's better than not meditating at all. Sure, it's great to do 20 minutes, and it'd be better to do 20 minutes. But if it's a choice between doing 20 minutes once every so often when you've got the perfect conditions and doing 5 minutes a couple of times every day, that 5 minutes every day is going to be more beneficial in the long run. So I think for most of us, we just like things to be right, and you want to be in the right spot. And a lot of people can get distracted by sound. And that's something that I think is really helpful if you can reframe, I guess, noise and sound. I think of sound and noise as just another thought or a sensation that I can use to remind me that I've wandered away from my meditation. And so when you notice that you're distracted by sound, it's another opportunity to return to your practice. And if you can reframe it like that, it means that you're less likely to get frustrated by really noisy environments, and you can kind of see it as a positive. Well, if I can meditate here, I can meditate anywhere. When my boys were small, they did gymnastics in a large, tin shed with 100 other kids. And I meditated every time I had to wait for them at those classes. And it was noisy and it was hot, but it was a great time while I was waiting to do that. And it was a really good practice for me in being able to meditate in pretty much any situation. So that's what I wanted to share with you. There are some really great tips on how to set up your meditation practice. And some of those things are: find a time and set it. If you know that you have the only time that you can control is first thing in the morning, then make that your time. If you know that your days are really disorganized and different every day, then when you're setting aside your schedule or when you're booking appointments, slot in a time for meditation. Setting reminders can be a really great one as well. And if you know you have to be flexible, then take the opportunity when you get it. Don't wait for that perfect opportunity later. Get in now, do the 5 minutes now, and then if you happen to get that time later, you can do more, and you'll get extra benefit. The other really good strategy is habit stacking. So this is where, particularly when you're first starting, you find an activity that you're already doing. So for a lot of habits, we might say, well, when you brush your teeth, do it, or you know, things that you're doing every day anyway. I like if you routinely get up and have a cup of tea or coffee, then just before you do that, you get up, you sit in a chair and you meditate, and then you have your cup of coffee. Because linking that activity to something that is really routine and that you do is another good one. So if you stop mid-morning or you stop mid-afternoon and have a break, then you could make it then as well. Just before you do that habit that's really ingrained, add in your meditation. And it just helps it become a habit as well. All right, that's me. I better get inside and watch some basketball. But have a great week and happy meditating.